unlock your world one word at a time, because language isn't just about learning, it's about living. Let's get started. Wonderful listeners, welcome back to another episode of the Languages Pedagogy Podcast, the platform where we don't just explore challenges of language teaching, we dive deep into solutions, celebrate progress, and amplify the voices driving change. Today's episode is one of the ones that I like from the beginning. It's one of hope, resilience, and action. Our topic today is advocating for change, initiatives fighting nativism in ELT. For too long, the language teaching industry has been plagued by nativism, a bias that prioritizes native speakers over non-native educators. This isn't just unfair, it's harmful, it undermines talented, passionate teachers, reinforces outdated stereotypes, and deprives students of diverse perspectives. But change is happening. Across the globe, organizations, movements, and individuals are stepping up to challenge these biases and advocate for equality and inclusion in ELT. Today, we're going to shine a spotlight on these incredible efforts. Over the next several minutes, we'll explore, first, the impact of nativism on teachers, learners, and the broader education system. 2. The key organizations leading the fight against discrimination in ELT. 3. Grassroots movements and online communities empowering non-native teachers. 4. Inspirational stories of individuals who've broken barriers and inspired change. And 5. Practical ways you can support these initiatives and be part of the solution. This episode is a celebration of progress, a call to action, and a reminder that together we can create a more inclusive, equitable language education industry. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and join me for this transformative journey. Let's get started.
Audio Jungle.
So let's begin with an honest look at the problem we're addressing today. What is nativism and why does it persist in the ELT industry? Nativism in English language teaching refers to a systemic bias that favors native speakers, or native English speakers in this case, or native speakers, depending on the language, over non-native speakers, particularly in hiring practices, pay scales, and perceptions of credibility, which is worst. For decades, the industry has been dominated by the belief that native speakers are inherently better teachers. This bias is reflected in job postings that specify native speakers only, lower pay for non-native teachers, even when they're equally or more qualified, a lack of representation for non-native educators in leadership roles and conferences. But here's the truth. Being a native speaker doesn't make you a good teacher. Great teaching requires empathy, training experience, and a deep understanding of language acquisition. Qualities that have nothing to do with where you were born. So why does this bias persist? As I was explaining to you before, in previous episodes, the colonial legacies is the association of English with power and prestige has historically positioned native speakers as the ideal authorities. Marketing pressures. Many schools cater to student and parent preferences, perpetuating stereotypes. And lack of awareness also. Decision makers often rely on outdated assumptions, rather than evaluating teachers on their skills and qualifications. The good news is that this narrative is changing. Across the globe, advocates are challenging these norms and pushing for more inclusive industry. Now, let's spotlight some of the incredible organizations working to dismantle nativism in ELT. First one, TESOL International Association. TESOL International is one of the most influential organizations in language teaching. Over the years, they've launched initiatives to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in ELT. What are the key contributions here? Research on the benefits of hiring non-native teachers, workshops and webinars on overcoming bias in hiring practices, advocacy for policy changes at institutional and government level. 2. NNEST Caucus, Non-Native English Speakers Teachers Caucus. Founded within TESOL, the NNEST Caucus is a powerful voice for non-native teachers. They focus on raising awareness about discrimination, providing professional development opportunities for non-native teachers, creating platforms for educators to share their stories and expertise. 3. Equal Education for All, or EEFA. This one is a global nonprofit advocating for equality in education, including the ELT industry. Their initiatives include campaigns to eliminate native speakers only job ads, collaboration with schools to develop inclusive hiring policies, scholarships for non-native teachers to pursue advanced certifications. Beyond formal organizations, grassroots movements and online communities are playing a pivotal role in driving change. First, TEFLE Quity advocates. This online campaign, led by non-native teacher Marek Kiskowicz, has gained global attention for its bold stance against nativism. Marek uses social media, blogs, and webinars to challenge stereotypes and advocate for fair hiring practices. The campaign empowers non-native teachers to speak out, share their stories, and demand change. Second, Facebook and LinkedIn groups. Groups like Non-Native English Teachers Unite provide safe spaces for educators to connect, share resources, and support one another. Third, YouTube channels and podcasts. Educators are using digital platforms to amplify their voices. From tutorials to testimonials, these creators are changing perception one video at a time. And let me share a few stories of individuals who've broken barriers and inspired others. Here we have the first one, Aisha from India. She faced rejection over and over again because of her Indian accent, despite holding a CELTA certification and a master's in education. Instead of giving up, she started her own online language school where she now teaches over 300 students globally. Aisha shared, "I realized that my value as a teacher isn't defined by others' biases. It's defined by the connections I build with my students and the progress they make." 100% with her, huh? What's your idea about this one? What do you think about her story? Share here in the comments. Here we have another story, Carlos from Mexico. Carlos, a passionate English teacher who was tired of seeing his non-native colleagues sidelined. He founded an annual conference focused on showcasing non-native educators' expertise. Today, the event attracts participants from over 50 countries. How you can support these initiatives? Change doesn't happen in isolation. It requires collective action. Here's how you can support the fight against nativism in ELT. 1. Educate yourself and others. Share resources on the value of non-native teachers. Change stereotypes when you hear them. 2. Advocate for inclusive policies. Encourage schools and institutions to revise their hiring criteria. Push for diversity in leadership and conference panels. 3. Support grassroots movements. Donate to organizations fighting for equality in ELT if you want to. Amplify the voices of non-native teachers on social media as well. 4. Be an ally. Listen to non-native teachers' experiences with empathy. Use your privilege to advocate for those who are marginalized. And as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with a simple but powerful message. Change is possible, and it starts with us. The fight against nativism in ELT isn't just about creating opportunities for non-native teachers. It's about building a language education system that values diversity, equity, and excellence. And before we're heading to the final part of this episode, I just want to remind you that new episodes drop every Monday and Friday. So make sure to tune in weekly for your dose of thought-provoking conversations. You can find our show on Apple Podcasts and also on Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Music. Don't forget to pay a visit to our website, MikeEnglishOnline.com, where you can find tons of resources for your daily learning or teaching. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and follow us for more. And thank you for joining me on this journey today. Let's continue to challenge the status quo, celebrate progress, and work together to create a brighter, more inclusive future for educators and learners alike. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and remember, every voice matters.